All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You've got David Yampolsky here with the brother from another mother, Hirak Patty. We are here with our promo for the upcoming podcast of the Hirak and David Show, which will be premiering in just a few weeks here on Facebook, YouTube, and other social media platforms. Without further ado, we'll begin with some introductions, offer a preview of what to expect with our weekly podcasts, and then we'll give you a little preview of what we'll be discussing. So, both of us, graduates of Vanderbilt University, class of 2013, molecular and cellular biology major. So, you could say that I'm going to have the more, perhaps, scientific way of looking at things, while obviously Hirak is the expert, as he is. I'll let him introduce himself. So go ahead.
So yeah, my name's Hirak. I went to Vanderbilt with David, as he's earlier mentioned, majored in political science, and after taking a year off of school, I went to University of South Carolina School of Law, and I'm now in my third year, starting my third year in the fall. So, been pretty involved with politics and all of that down here in Columbia, South Carolina. So it's been a very, very, very busy year. And as David's brought up, we're going to be discussing a lot of things, a lot of different topics. Actually, there's a little outside of politics, but these days on my social media outlets, I've been seeing not only discussions about social justice, but I've also been interested in learning a little bit more about this Pokemon phenomenon, which I've just seen all these people, sitting around catching Pokemon. So I kind of want to let people know that we're not just going to be talking about politics. It's going to be, there's going to be some sports, there's going to be some culture, there's going to be all kinds of different things that we're going to be discussing here over, in a few weeks we will continue to do so. So,
what I find unfortunate, Hirak, is that the Pokemon Go game, you can't just throw the Pokeball at a nice girlfriend. It's like, I want that one and that one. Just can't do it. I don't want the Pokemon.
I kind of want to bring up a little bit of a comment sort of about high school. I've had a lot of folks been sort of discussing how back in high school when they were interested in Pokemon, they were considered the nerds, and now it's sort of like they're talking about being sort of events of the nerds.
Pokemon wasn't a high school thing. Pokemon was...
Well, it was more like a middle school / thing, and then they were all talking about how they were made fun of and all that, and now it's becoming this popular thing now for people to do. So I think that's kind of making a few people think about it twice. Hey, look, now everybody thinks it's cool. They didn't think it was cool 10 years ago, but now...
It's a very troubling obsession, and we're going to talk about the mental state of this country in a separate podcast for sure, an obsession with smartphones. But I guess today we just wanted to offer a little preview of what we wanted to talk about. Obviously, a lot of things happening right now on the news. Whether it's CNN, Fox News, Russia Today, Al Jazeera, not Al Jazeera America though; those guys closed down, unfortunately. But it's happening. A lot of talk right now about what's happened in the latest killings in the black community by police officers, the response by the communities, by the media, the shooting in Dallas and how that has been handled. And I think Hirak and I both agree that it's an issue that is not easy to discuss. It's very polarizing, but it's important to bring up and also talk about not just the issues and all the complexities around it, but perhaps ways that, you guys, can also get involved if we ever want to enact change, the right kind of change, in this country.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, maybe we'll get more into sort of like, things that I think we discussed sort of while we were at Vanderbilt, like, doing letter writing campaigns or just doing something to like, discussing the issues are great, but like then people ask, what are we actually going to do? And so I think that would be kind of cool is like over time to sort of have some ways for some of our listeners to be able to interact more frequently with the government. Because one thing I've noticed amongst millennials especially, like a lot of millennials do understand sort of what's going on with like who's the president and like sort of like at least they're somewhat engaged with the presidency and all that, but there's sort of like a lack of engagement at the state level. And these days, the state level is kind of where a lot of this politicking is going on. Actually, a lot of these laws that are getting passed recently, which we'll talk a lot more in depth about, are actually happening at the state level. So, that's where we kind of have to focus more, I think, more of our effort as millennials, like sort of on those type of efforts. So I think we'll continue to do that and continue to sort of talk about how you engage, your state house representatives, your state senators, and all of that. So, something to think about as we continue on.
And these will be issues that I think all of us are, Hirak and I, we are certainly, this is not going to be Hannity and Combs, 2.0. What this will be is, interesting debate, just because Hirak and I, we're certainly not going to be, we'll publicly announce that we're not going to be voting for Donald Trump. We have many issues that we have differing opinions on. And I think it's important to look at those issues and talk about the complexities of these issues because ultimately there is no right answer to anything. And I think that a lot of times people need to be aware of all the different ways you can look at one issue, and I think we're going to try to bring the facts to the table and try to, make sure that people understand what's actually going on. We don't want to sit here and pontificate and be demagogues. We are here to, educate ourselves as well as the viewers on the topics today and present the facts and our opinions and get people involved. And I think that that's something that we will do hopefully successfully. And, obviously we'll make it enjoyable for everybody. Trust us.
Good point. I think you brought up a really good point about being more interactive. I think what I would like to see is sort of, if our viewers do end up having certain questions that, we kind of started off with sort of answering some of those questions and sort of being interactive with our viewers. Because, yes, people like to listen to us talk about things, and I think that will be interesting. But we also need to be sure that we're continuing to listen to what y'all have to say, because at the end of the day, y'all's voices definitely do matter quite a bit. So
can't use y'all on this podcast. Have to use you guys. Okay. No, absolutely, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. So in the coming weeks, we'll be coming out with our first podcast, true podcast. We'll be talking about the issues. Please let us know if you have any requests. I think there's been some great debate that Hirak starts on Facebook. He is the instigator number one, and then I counter back and then incite more anger, and that's exactly what we're here to do. We're here to get people passionate about the issues, and if you're not, we hope to maybe this will be the platform to kind of get you educated, and we hope to engage as many people as we can between the two of us and grow this into something that will, who knows? We're going to be looking back at this a year later, and hopefully we'll be proud of what we've begun here. So, any last words, Hirak?
I think you put it well. I'm hoping that, it won't be just us two watching this.
And if it will be, it's great because
that's
it's
great.
Here, and this will be great. It'll be great times.
It'll be, we'll be able to just record ourselves. No, I'm just kidding.
It needs Hulu. That was better than Hulu.
Yeah, no, I really do hope that, as some of these, like controversies start to come out, there's going to be more and more things happen this year. I think hopefully we'll be kind of the voice that kind of is out there on top of these issues, keeping people posted and sort of giving people sort of different perspectives on these particular things that will be coming up over that time period. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can put together.
Thank you very much, everybody. This is David and Hirak over and out. It's a late night. We're not going to let you know what time it is right now because it's going to be shocked at what time we decided to record this, but just let us know that we're dedicated for you guys. We're going to make it work, and stay tuned for more materials. So have a wonderful evening, and have a good week. And remember, we will make America great again. It's not the way that, that one guy says. Have a good evening.
Right. Have a good evening.